everybody, how y'all doing today? Welcome back to D-Ray Shop. Today I'm going to be working on this here 1986 XL600R Honda. I'm going to do a little bit of carburetor work on it, so let's get started. Now we've got that fuel tank out of the way, you can get a little bit more detail on how the carburetors are set on this motor here. Now to remove them, what we're going to do is we're going to take the choke cable loose. Then you got two throttle cables. You got a pull cable and a return. We'll take both of those off now. Then it's just simply a matter of taking the bands loose from the intake and from the back side of the carburetor on both sides. You're also going to want to take the crankcase ventilation canister, take it off to get it out of the way. And to help make things a little easier, we're not going to remove the airbox. It's kind of a pain to get it out of there, but what we will do is there's two bolts that holds it in place here and here. We'll take those two bolts out and then we'll scoot that airbox back just about an inch or so, and that'll give us a little extra clearance to help facilitate getting those carburetors out of there. There's the carburetors. This carburetor setup on this XL600 is a little different from what you'd normally see on motorcycles. Even though this is a single cylinder engine, it has twin carburetors. And what's even more unique about it is this is a progressive linkage style carburation system, which means the carburetor on the left hand side has your main jet, and it also has your low speed jets and all your low speed passages for idling. Now the carburetor on the right hand side, it only has just your main jet and the slide and the main needle and nozzle. And so when you're riding this thing at low throttle settings, you know, for just the first little bit of throttle, all you're getting is just that left carburetor. But as you open the throttle on up a little bit more, you notice that one on the right starting to open up. And it's set up on a little bit different linkage setup, so the further you go, the faster it comes up. So by the time you get to wide open throttle, both carburetors are wide open. It's pretty neat. So let's disassemble them and see what they look like on the inside. Now, one thing you want to take note of before you remove these carburetor bowls is, even though they look identical, they are different. And this is what the difference is. This is the left side carburetor, and it also has your choke circuit built into it. That little choke circuit works off of the carburetor bowl, and there's a little jet down there for it. So you want to be sure that the bowl with the jet goes back on the left carburetor. Now the one for the right hand side looks the same, but it's not drilled for the bi-starter jet. So if you get these two switched over, your choke's not going to work properly. Also, you can see here, this is our bowl gaskets. This is what was leaking fuel on us earlier. So I'm going to take those off, and we'll replace those. These carburetors look really clean on the inside, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time cleaning them out, but I will go ahead and remove the low speed jet and blow through it, and I'll probably go ahead and take the low speed mixture screw out, blow through those circuits real good, make sure there's no residual fuel or any kind of corrosion or anything in there that would keep that thing from idling properly. And then we're going to put some new O-rings back on these bowls and put these carburetors back together. Now before I take this low speed mixture screw out, there's a couple of things you need to know about it. Of course, now this one's already been modified, but originally it had a little square tab that stuck off the end of this thing that would limit the amount of adjustment that you had on it. That was an old EPA regulation from back in the 80s. Now this one here has already had the ear ground off of it, and if yours hasn't, then that's going to be the best thing to do. You can go ahead and take the bowl off, and then as you remove that screw, you just nip the little tab off of it, or you can grind it off or whatever. But before we just take that screw out of there, we want to determine where it was originally set at, so when we reinstall it, we'll put it right back like it was, and we'll use it as a base setting. Then we can readjust the screw a little bit to kind of fine tune it if needed. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn it in until it lightly seats, and we're going to count the rounds. So it's half, 1 and a half, 2 and a half, 3 and a half. It's bottoming out right there. So that's 3.5 turns out. So we'll remember that after we get done blowing through this carburetor passage, and we'll set it back to 3.5 rounds. Now, there's a couple of small parts inside here that you want to be aware of. When you remove that mixture screw, it's got the little tip on the end of it. We'll set that aside. Now, I've made me a little tool here out of a piece of mechanics wire, and all it is just got a little hook on the end of it. We'll reach in here, we're going to pull out a spring. Right there. Then there should be a small washer and a small rubber O-ring in there. A lot of times those get misplaced if someone's been into these carburetors before. But look at there, they're both still there. There's the O-ring and the washer. So now we can go ahead and blow that passage out. Got all the carburetor passages and jets and everything blowed out, so we're going to reassemble it now. This is a low-speed jet. It's going to go in there. And just lightly seat it down. Since those are brass jets, you don't just really go torquing on them real hard. Just a light seating is all that's required. There's our low-speed mixture screw. I'm going to reassemble it. The spring goes on first. Then the washer. Just like that. Last but not least, a little O-ring. There you go, just like that. And we'll just reinstall that. Then we're going to run it down to it lightly seats. Right there. We're going to back it out 3.5 rounds. Right there. All right. Got our new bowl gaskets ready here. So we'll just drop that on. Make sure it's down in the groove all the way. Then we'll put the bowls back on. And we'll just remember that the bowl with the jet in it is the one that goes on the left carburetor with the bi-starter circuit. So that's going to go on just like that. Then the other bowl goes on the right carburetor. All right, that's got our carburetors all back together. Now we'll just put everything back on in the reverse order that we removed it. Old bike don't run too bad for not having been run since '93, does it? All right, well, that's going to wrap up this edition of D-Ray Shop. And as always, appreciate you guys watching. Y'all have a good one. See y'all next time around.